Mhm. Okay, shalom to everyone from Jerusalem, Israel. Okay, so today we're going to speak about a very sensitive subject, something very special. I knew it was coming sooner or later with that flag, behind me. But I didn't start it, I'm just doing that live stream, in answer to what my friend Vlad, had last time, in yesterday on his podcast. So, but first things first. So we have here, like, a custom to just talk about what the Torah has to say about flutters before to start the stream. So I'm going to do it directly. But in the creation, at I think it's chapter 2, Genesis chapter 2, where it is written that everything was finished. The skies, the earth, and all their army was finished already, and it says over there that all the bushes of the field were not growing yet, and all the grass of the field was not there yet. So the question here is about the field. So the earth is being referred here as a field, and we're not talking here about a field's grass or fields bushes, which means it could be like all over the place in all kinds of different landscapes. We're talking about the bushes of the field, the grass of the field. So the thing is that if the earth is referred to as a field, then it's flat. Very simple. So that was for what the Torah has to say about flat earth. So yesterday my good friend Vlad, made a podcast, and I watched it, and over there it just like brings up a guy there that mentions the Jews are as people not being a people, just like as Judaism as a religion, and I felt like I had to answer to that, and this is great because we have here an opportunity to talk about these subjects, between flat earthers, because I'm open, to any discussions about anything, and also about the Jews, about because what you hear all over the place, and for a long time already, is that the Jews control the world, and they have the money, and there's an Israeli lobby in America, which is true, anyways. And but you have also things that Jews drink the blood, eat babies, kill the Palestinians, and doing like a genocide, and all these things that of course we'll have to to talk about this whole thing, whatever. So the thing is, again, for all those that are support Israel, you have to understand something. Vlad is a good friend of mine. He's not anti-Semitic at all. Vlad, just like many people, believes that he has to fight evil wherever it is. So if he believes that there is evil in Israel or within the Zionists or within whatever groups of people within the Filipinos or the Inuits, so he's going to expose them. He has nothing. He has no anti-Semitic feelings, and this is what's great about Flooders, because we can talk openly. So now I believe that here I am, Jewish, Sephardic, living in Israel, Israeli, and also supporter, of course, of Israel, defender of the Torah and of the Jewish people, and but also, of course, and first, defender of the truth, wherever it goes, wherever it is. And so it's a great opportunity, I believe, that we can discuss about this, because I tell you what, uh, here it's a podcast about flat earth, not about Israel, not about religions. We're talking here about flat earth. But as many of you already understood, a flat earth is the battlefield for a different war. It's just that war around flat earth is not just about the shape of the earth, which personally I don't care. I know it's flat, that's enough for me. I don't care if it's a triangle, if it's a circle, I don't know. But the thing is that, that war is more of a spiritual war. And many of you already just said it, admit it, and also understand it. And you have to understand something. What the NASA does with all this nonsense, all this fakery, is actually, and you understand that, I guess, is to actually insert in people's mind that there is no such thing as God. And how do you do that? You do that by convincing people that God did not create the earth, that there was a big bang, that there was dinosaurs, whatever. And there is no dome, there is alien civilizations. And all this is actually made for people slowly to abandon the idea that God created, very wisely, the place that we live in. So it's a war against God. Whoever you want to call God, you want to call him Jesus, you want to call him whatever, it doesn't matter for now. The thing is that, again, it's a war against God, and you have to understand something very, very, very important. In that war against God, you cannot tell people that God does not exist. It didn't create, the earth. It was, made by itself. And but in the same time, say, oh, you know what? But the Torah is right, and the Jews, are right also. That they're okay. You can't do that. So you have to not only, try to enforce that lie that there is no creation, there is no dome, and then also you have to attack the Torah by saying, oh, what you say is just your interpretation, that's not true, it's not written like this, whatever. So, and the last thing is that you cannot say that there is no creation, there is no dome, the Torah is no good, or the Jews, like, falsified it. And you cannot say in the same time that the Jews are right. So demonizing Israel, demonizing the Jews is a part of, that war. It's just another front of the different wars. So of course the Jews are always going to be demonized, because as long as there are Jews, there is a Torah. Now, as long as there is a Torah, there is a God. You understand, that created the world. It doesn't matter if around this gravitates all kinds of religions, different opinions. Doesn't matter. But the foundations are here. And the thing is that our enemies are always try to destroy that foundation. Because as long as we are here, as long as this book exists, they're always going to be like degenerates, and they're always going to be like, exposed for what they are. But if we disappear, if the Torah disappears, so in that case, they're going to normalize madness, and they're going to just like, make people believe that what's an abomination is something good, what's ugly, is actually beautiful, and vice versa, and all that. That means it's just like in the movie 1984, slavery is freedom, all that kind of nonsense. So it's not the first time that this is being attempted, and we're here just to answer to all that, because also on the other end, I have to admit, I have to understand that if there is so much uh, nonsense, I can say, spread against the Jews, there must be a reason. Not everything can be wrong. Something has to be right. There must be a reason behind all this, few reasons, and maybe even good reasons. I don't know. But we also know that this is a fact. So we have to understand these things in order to again do what we're supposed to do as truth seekers, uh, expose the truth, and in the same time exposing the lies. So before to start, I just want to tell you this, that what I'm going to say is like unpublished. Most of what I'm going to say is not published, because um, the way I've studied the Torah, the way I learned, is not a conventional way in Judaism. Most of the Jews learned the Torah in order to keep it intact, to preserve it. You understand? So it's been unaltered, and it stayed intact for thousands of years, because since day one, from the first minute the Torah was given to us, we read it every day, and we kept it alive, every single day. And we passed that on to our children, grandchildren, and we are the living witness that this book is true, because we didn't leave it like for 1 second for thousands of years. So now you can say, everybody's free to believe that is BS. It's like, you can believe whatever you want. But again, as flat earthers, you have the obligation to check things. And this brings me to say that, it's funny, because uh, when it comes to Israel, when it comes to, the people of Israel, the state of Israel, or anything that is linked to the Jews in general, even though that I don't like that term, because it doesn't mean nothing really. So Jews comes from Juden, a German word, and that mixes up all the tribes of Israel. We Israelites. This is the best definition of what is a Jew. But the thing is, again, um, when when we think about it, uh, as soon as we talk about like Israel and the Jews, suddenly people, become globers again. They don't do their homework. They don't, check things out, and they just like believe things and believe what makes them feel good. And this is exactly what the Globers do. They don't check. They don't care about checking. They just do what they have. What they want to do. So and they don't. It's not the promise. The point is not to understand anything. It's just to feel good with what they believe. So now, uh, again, the I would have never, talked about this uh, to anybody else, but to you guys. Why? Because I have a great, great respect for the flat Earth community. Even the good flat Earthers, the bad flat Earthers, whatever. Not the fake ones, because they don't belong to the community. They're just here like as parasites. But the thing is that you guys proved me that you were smart. You're not stupid. So even if you say something that's stupid, or or believe in something that is totally absurd, it cannot make you stupid. I can never call you what David Weiss calls you all the time, like stupid, stupid. You can, because you proved that you're not already, and you proved again. That's my opinion. That you somehow you are blessed, because to invest yourselves into promoting the truth and to fight for the truth, at costs, and sometimes at a high cost. This is something that most of the people don't do. Usually they don't do that. And this reminds me of the people that were around Abraham at one time, that were called the students of Abraham, that fought with him the war of the kings, that big war there. And that means it was like, were not part of the people of Israel, but they were like, together, and they were like brothers, that we were together. So the thing is that, again, uh, I believe that with everything that you've done so far, that you've realized, like there was no moon landing, there was, realizing all those lies around the concept of flat Earth. So you're already like kind of formed. You can already have an experience of what it is to just realize what's wrong and accept it. You understand? And so that's why I feel like I can talk to you about those things, because some of the things I'm gonna tell you are not easy to accept. They're like, it's gonna be like some hardcore information you got to get here, because here I tell you something, we have our own content. When I talk to you about Israel, you're gonna hear things that you never heard nowhere, that nobody's gonna teach you. Believe me, I guarantee that to you. And like when you talk about the stars, the pictures, the videos that I showed, those are the pictures that I took, that Mikey took. So we have our own content. Not going to find that nowhere on the internet, not yet. Um, so again, the thing is that I have a great respect for the Flat Earth community, and I believe the Flat Earth community, even though it's still information for me, it's not something already established, but has the potential to understand those things and to accept even what can be like, uh, what can hurt, what can be like hard to accept, because they've done that already. They've done it already. Uh, so again, before to start, I'd like to apologize, in advance if I hurt people's feelings, but know that what's going to happen here, what we're going to talk about is going to be like, it's going to be maybe hard for some people to accept it or to just hear it. So just you know just be ready for it. I think I'm ready for it too, but let's see. So again, just before to go on, I just want to tell you that the subject of the Jews, ruling the world, Rothschilds and all that, is so huge that we cannot talk about it like in one podcast. So we're gonna have a series of podcasts where people will be able to join in. I'm gonna put the link later on the chat. And the thing is that we're gonna start with the beginning. If we're talking here about the Jews, and if people just don't like the Jews or hate the Jews for whatever reasons, for whatever they believe they know about the Jews, the first thing to do, that's my opinion as an investigator, is to know what we are talking about. What is the subject? What is the Jews? So today we call the Jews everybody that's that belongs to Israel, or that say they're Jewish, or they put like a kippah on kippah. By the way, it's a dome in Hebrew. So and everyone that has a uniform and of a religious Jew, because that uniform there, with the hat and the suit there and the white shirt and black pants like the Mormons, was invented by the Ashkenazi, Jews in Eastern Europe, like about 200 years, 150 years ago. There was never any uniform of the Jews. Jews in Morocco, they had like, galabias, like, like they were dressed like Arabs. So having a new uniform put on the Jew is a very dangerous thing, because now you can bring up all kinds of people that are not Jewish, that do not belong to Israel, and say, "Oh, look, they're Jewish. Look, they have, they look like Jews, so they're Jews, right?" So that's what is happening. And today, in Israel, and even around within what we identify as the people of Israel, because Israel is a people, it's not a religion, and we'll come to that later. You have also fake. Jews, people that do not belong to us. Among them, there are good guys and bad guys, but most of them, are not too good for us. So again, just like there are good Christians, bad Christians, good black fellows, bad ones, good Democrats, bad Democrats, good Republicans, bad Republicans. There's good and bad people all over the place. And among the Jews, the thing to understand is that, a Jew is a man like anybody else. We have a special history. But the thing is that, with the same, so a Jew as an individual has is free to choose evil or good. And the thing you have to understand is that there are Jews in this world that hate Jews. You have Jews that hate Israel, that hate the Torah, and they wish they'll be like, free of that, that burden there to be called Jewish or to act like a Jew. And lots of people in Germany, also, didn't were not too proud to be Jews, and they used to take like German names and hide their Jewish identity. And the thing is that again, it happens. And among these people, you can find the worst people in the world, because again, I'm introducing all this like a lot, but uh, one thing that I will say that you have to know also is that you're gonna find out that on one side, the best people in the world are Jews, and the worst in the world also are Jews. In the middle is you guys. You don't get to the top or to the bottom, and we don't get in the middle. Or we are very good or very bad. And why is that? I tell you what I believe I understood. Because at one point, uh, back a few thousands of years ago, our ancestors, our forefathers, made a deal with God. I don't want to just, develop this, but God said, okay, you have to take my book, my Torah, you have to keep those commandments, eat like this, dress like this, don't do that. And all this was given to us, not to you guys, to us only, to eat kosher, to that, non-Jews can eat no kosher. God says you can, they can eat snakes, they can eat whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You don't have the same rules than we do. So the thing is that when we accepted, that burden, God, in order for us to carry that burden, that heavy burden, God gave us a special strength and an extra, battery, an extra, strength in order to be able to carry on that, that task of us, which we did. Because if people tell you that, oh, the Jews, they sinned, they rebelled against God. No, 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 no. At an individual level, many of them did. And at one point, we Jews also killed them. In the Torah, we killed people of the Israelites that rebel against God. But in like a general matter, in general, the Jews carried on their task. They accomplished their mission because the book of the Torah is still here, unaltered, unchanged. And that was the goal, just to carry on all these secrets, and at one point to explain them, because the Torah was given to us, but not for us. It was for all of us. And now, again, before to start, I know that I'm taking a lot of time. Uh, the thing is that if you believe that the Jews were chosen, like as a chosen people, it's not that simple. It's not like God said, oh, I like this one. Oh, I like him. No, it's not that. We were chosen for a special task. But you guys were chosen for a different one. God did not create you just like plants or animals. You have a job to do. You have a task to do. You and us, it's like how can I put that? It's like a man and a woman. It's like we have different roles. But what you have to understand is that just like in the Eden Garden, where you have, the wife, Adam, you also have a third guy there called the snake. and he's going to make sure he's going to, spread some, make some problems and turn the two one against the other. Because I don't know if you know, but Adam didn't touch his wife for like 130 years, because of what happened. So you have in the world the nations. You're all mixed up now because they mixed you up. They put you in a big grinder. They mixed up all the 70 original people that came out from the ark. And now you don't even know really who you are or where you come from. Or when you say I live in Canada or I live in America, my family came from Ireland. Again, how old is Ireland? And so you lost track of whoever you really are. And the thing about the Jews is that we kept track of our origins all the way to Adam. We know who Abraham was, who Isaac was, Jacob. We know who his father was, and all the way to Adam. So we have this, we have that thing there, and that's very important. Then we'll talk about why later. So again, let's talk now about the Jews, because in that podcast of that Brad had, that guy that he referred to says, well, Jews is not a people. Okay, it's not a people, it's just a religion that you can convert to or not. So let me fix that, because first of all, what we call the Jews, the Israelites, is a people. And we have the proof of this because we have all our fathers, that everything is written, like we can again trace our origins, by from Abraham, from Jacob, all the way to Adam. So we know that it is a people. It's not like random. It's not like guys like from all over that just come and believe into something. And it's not a club. It's not like it's not a religion. The Jews are a people. Even though today there are fake Jews, people that do not come from our people, come from yours. And the thing is that again, even though there is corruption, there is confusion, and that's okay. That's normal. We're at war. Again, the Jews or the Israelites are people. The name of Israel came out some 250 years before entering Egypt. Jacob got the name of Israel when he fought against that angel there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that story. And at that point, that angel, which for us was Satan, he said, okay, you won. Now you're going to be called Israel. And to explain to you a little bit what is Israel, I'm going to make you dive a little, deep down, for like a few seconds. Because you see, in the Torah, there are ways to understand things. There are ways to investigate. Because what is the Torah? Those are books made out of words. But there are words in between the words, and there are numbers also. And there are lots of allegories and subtleties, linguistic subtleties that allow you to understand things in between things. So, for example, in Hebrew, every letter is also a number. Aleph is 1, Bet, B is 2, and on. It goes up to 10, and then it jumps from 10 to 20 to 30 up to 100, and then from 100, 200, 300, and 400. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. 5 of them, just change shapes, but those are the same letters. So, this being said, I'm coming back to that story where the name of Israel comes up to know what does it mean? Well, what is this? Well, what is Israel? In that fight with that angel, where even if it was a real fight, it was a dream or vision or something, I don't know. We're not going to talk about this now, but the thing is that we know it was with the Satan that he fought, according to what our scholars are teaching us. And the very interesting thing is this: if you know that each letter is a number, so when the Satan tells him, okay, you Jacob, you're going to become now Israel, that means that you 182, because 182 is the numerical value of Jacob in Hebrew. You're going to become Israel. From 182, you're going to become 541, which is Israel. 541 is again the numerical value of Israel in Hebrew. So the difference between 182 and 541 is 359. And 359 happens to be the numerical value of Satan. Whoa, what does that mean? That means Israel is Satan then. Oh, no. Israel is Israel. Israel is 541. Satan is 359. Big difference. But how come it is that number there that added up to the number of Jacob becomes Israel? I'll explain you. When Jacob fought, I'm going to say Yaakov because Jacob is like the name doesn't exist. Just learn the real names. When Yaakov, fought Satan, he won. What does that mean? When you win an enemy, you possess him. You own him. At that point, when Jacob won, he took with him everything that the Satan had. He took all his secrets. He took everything the Satan knows. And he took that upon, with him, and he became Israel. Just like when you make an antidote for the venom, antidote against the snake's venom, you need venom. In every antidote against the snake's venom, you have some venom. So what you have to understand is that Israel was built, was created from that fight there. And when Yaakov managed to win the Satan, he became himself Israel. He became the antidote to the Satan. So this is a way, it's not a proof. And again, I'm not trying to prove anything because, we Jews have nothing to prove. All this was given to us. I'm sharing that with you because I feel that you deserve it. You have a huge potential and you remind me, us. So the thing is that, I feel that I have to share that with you. So, because I also want to understand, who I am. I didn't grow up in Judaism. I grew up in Christianity. I grew up in a very nice community of Seventh-day Adventists. And I had one of the best years of my life. Great people. I still have contact with them now. But the thing is that I didn't grow up as a Jew, even though I knew that I was Jewish. I knew that I come from a Jewish mother that comes from another Jewish mother, and on. Because Judaicity, not Judaism, comes through the mother. This is our tradition. This is what we learn, what we know. And again, we have nothing to prove, nothing to sell. We don't want to convince anybody that we're right. Everybody is trying to convince themselves that we're wrong, but we don't care. This is this is a private thing. Just we don't want to convert people. If you want to become Jewish, normally, because today it's like so corrupted, but normally, we just tell you just go. It's not for you. We don't want to people to convert to Judaism. So the thing is that again, this is a small insight to tell you what I believe again that Israel is. And again, I didn't write these books. I didn't invent those numbers. This is there. So this is what Israel is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a machine against evil, built to set people free from the lies and from evil. That means that this is the very principle of Israel. Now, this being said, it is true, and I'm with you 100%, that there are Jews. I'm not even talking about like fake ones. Let's say real Jews that are evil. I know. I've seen them in Israel. There are plenty of them. You understand? So again, this is true. There are in the world, Jews that are very wealthy to the top, and there is a Jewish lobby in America. There is, of course, and there's not going to be a Jewish lobby in North Korea, that's for sure. So the thing is that, again, all that is true, but you have to have some basic common sense. So if you jump to the conclusion that the Rothschild, for example, are Jewish and therefore because they're evil. I can just sign it to you that they're not good people, even though they helped Israel. But with the left hand, with the right hand they help us, and with the left hand they just fight us. The Rothschilds controlled the Bank of England that gave like millions at a time in gold to the Nazi party, the Nazi Germany. So we caught them once, say, oh, that's a mistake, but we didn't catch them like 100 times, when they did that. So we know that they financed the Nazi party, the Nazi regime, and that's what they do. They gave money to Israel. They 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 made it possible. They were very they had a power of influence over the King of England and everything. So, but on the other hand, England sold, the brand new war equipment to all the Arab armies around us in order to destroy us. So you see, with one hand they do good, with the other one they do bad. They just play on both sides, both sides all the time. So again, if you believe that the Rothschilds are Jewish, and of course they are evil, doesn't mean that all the Jews are evil. Doesn't mean that everybody is evil. The Rockefellers were much more evil than the Rothschild because the architects of Nazi Germany, of the eugenics program, of the medicines that kill everybody, of the education, all that is Rockefellers. They're not Jews. They're very harsh Christians. They built in some university there, like a big a church, like like a Catholic church, you know, like a library, something that looks like exactly like a church. They're very like hardcore Christians, just like Hitler. Hitler was a hardcore Christian, Catholic Christian, not even Protestant, because in Germany it's like Protestants. And the guy that teaches us that is Franco, who says that he was a child of the Catholic Church and he fought all his life, for the Catholic Church. I didn't say that, hey, it was written when I got there. It's not me. So again, you have to be careful how you build reasoning. And I don't care. I don't say that because I'm Jewish. I say that with everybody. If you told me that about the Filipinos, I will say the same thing. In the world, there is about like 20 million Jews, approximately what they say. Okay. So now the thing is that 20 million Jews, it'll be hard for all of them to get together and control the whole world. This is ridiculous. Elites of people are always made of a very, very, very small, tight circle of people, like a few tens of people, maybe 10, 12, 15, and then they control like 50, 100, but not like, 20 million people. This is ridiculous. So if there are Jews among the, those people that are rule the world and evil people that spread evil, well, first of all, they cannot be a majority of these circles. They can only be a minority. And you also have to take in consideration the non-Jews that also are up there. And the thing is that we talk a lot about the Jews because it's easy. It's like it makes people feel good. Those Christ killers. They're like evil, haha. So we were right about everything we said about them and whatever. So the thing is that again, be careful not to fall into that trap to believe easily what makes you feel good. Okay, just double check things and learn. I learned things about the Jewish people by double checking things, by investigating. I saw good side, bad side, even Israel. I was like very fan of Israel, and today also. But the thing is that I realized that there is bad things going on here. I'm not talking about the Palestinians. Forget about it, this is something else. I'm talking about here within the Jewish community, within the religious Jewish community. There are lots of big time anomalies, things that are out of place totally. So again, you have the obligation as flourishers to double check things. You cannot, just believe things because it makes you somehow feel good, or it justifies, your religious beliefs or whatever other beliefs. You have to double check, uh, because the first reason will be, if I was instead of you, I will check, our history, and all over our history, all our enemies self-destructed, all of them. There's no one standing. There are always like new guys coming up, like like now. But you can see that the Jewish people has like some kind of a protection, some kind of there is something that's not normal. Look at Israel. It's not normal that we are winning against like hundreds of millions of people. You understand? Look at Iran. Everybody said, "Oh, Iran, Iran." In 2 days, we had like control of their airspace, and all their staff was like decapitated. So even all the secret services in the world, all the armies, intelligence community would have never been able to pull that out. And even the Mossad, even the best agency ever, even if they planned that for years, always something can screw up in such an operation. But zero mistake. Or we don't know. Maybe that they were. But the thing is, again, it's you see that there is something special about this country, despite the fact that there is a lot of corruption here, a lot of problems. I know. I live here. I understand. So I'm going to fight the corruption, but not the Jewish people. We're going to fight what's evil, but not the people that uh, or act as evil or spread evil. We have to understand evil. So again, if people like the Rothschild and everything just spread that evil, we're going to fight them. We're going to try to fight them, not to kill them. We're going to try to bring them back to the good side. But this is what we Jews are built for, even though we don't use that that strength that we have to do that. So the thing again, uh, you have to understand that there are 20 million Jews in the world, and that out of these 20 million Jews, you take out all the kids, all the old people, pregnant women, whatever, mentally retarded people, take all that, and it's going to reduce the number to like, a small number. And then you're going to take this small number, and you're going to see that, uh, like 99.9% is not involved in any kind of like like a secret society or whatever, even though in Israel now the Freemasons are also active. There are Jews, religious Jews into the Freemasons. I know, I used to be one, so I know how to recognize handshakes and stuff. And sometimes I say hi to a rabbi or something, and those makes me that handshakes. I don't say nothing, I don't answer to that sign, but I know that it's a Freemason. So what the hell, a rabbi? So again, we have problems here in Israel, and you guys have the same problems on your side, and that's normal because we have the same enemies. The enemies of Israel is also the enemies of the non-Jews. Is also the enemies of mankind. You understand? It's not just our enemies and your friend. No, forget about this. All the enemies of Israel are also your enemies, and this is why we have to talk. We have to understand this subject because it's very important. I knew I knew it was going to come sooner or later with that flag there behind me. I knew that sooner or later, I was going to have to talk about this. But I didn't start it. I just react to a video that I saw yesterday that I had to react to. So again, to come back to that podcast of Vlad yesterday. So you have the guy there with a beard and talking about the Jews like not being a people, and that anybody can be a Jew because they can convert. So let me again try to explain that. First of all, there is no such thing as a conversion in the Torah. Does not exist. Never, ever, ever can you have a non-Jew convert and become a part of Israel and enter one of the 12 tribes, of Israel. Doesn't exist. Never did, never was, and never will. You have people that are not from the people of Israel, from the dynasty, because Israel is a dynasty of priests. I can say that at one point. So it goes all the way to Adam. And again, when it came to that period of time where Israel was formed or reformed and brought, and accepted the Torah. So at that point, you had rules that were established, and someone that is not from our blood cannot join in and become a full part of Israel. But there are some people that are not like part of Israel, and they want to embrace, they recognize the Torah as something good, as the truth, and they want to join us. They want to be with us, and we accept them. We take them among us. Sorry, and we call them gerim in Hebrew. A ger in Hebrew is not a convert, because the Ashkenazi people here tell you, oh yeah, you can convert, and the ger is a convert. No, no, no. Abraham says, I am a ger among you. I reside among you. A ger is a resident. That means he talks to the people, of Het, and he says, I'm a resident among you. I'm a stranger, but I live among you. I dwell among you. That's called a ger. And also God tells us, not to hate Egypt because we were resident in Egypt. We were gerim in Egypt also. That means that this is not, we didn't convert to the Egyptian religion. We were just residing there. So we have these people that live among us that we're gonna protect just as our own children. They are ruled by the same laws than we do, but there are certain things they cannot do because they're not part of Israel. But they can dwell among us. They can be with us. We're gonna love them. We're gonna protect them. We're gonna teach them everything. But they're still separated. They're not like fully part of Israel. You understand? In Israel, the same thing. You have Israeli people. They're not Jewish. They're not part of us. But you know what? We're gonna fight to death for them. If you touch to one Arab, Israeli Arab, you're gonna have a problem with me because he's also with us and he's not part of us. So again, you have to understand, these things. So there is no such thing as a conversion. Now, since the last, I believe 2, 3, 4 centuries, I don't know, I think even less than that, the rabbis, explain now, there are lots of Jews in the world that do not know, cannot prove, sorry, that they are Jewish, that they belong to Israel, let's say. And then we're gonna have to make like a test to recognize if they're really like, part of the people of Israel. So they put a system in place that is called conversion, which is not to convert a non-Jew into a Jew, but to bring back a lost soul of Israel. Because with the exile, lots of people got mixed up, and sometimes you have people that know that they're Jewish, but they cannot just prove it. So there is a system put in place just to recognize, a son of Israel. And I won't go into how it works, but it's very harsh. It takes normally very long, like 10, 20 years, and it's like a series of like tests and tests. And if the guy can pass all those tests, it proves that it's from us. But this is why that system was put in place. Now that system has been perverted, mostly by the Ashkenazi establishment, in order to bring here people that are not part of us, that don't even want to be part of us, and they make it legal. Okay, you can convert. You can say, there are conversions here with like in half an hour you can convert. You can say a few things up, and you you come in. So this is highly, highly regular, and one of the tasks of the Messiah, Mashiach, when he'll come, the one that we believe will come, will be to say, okay, you from Israel, you're not from Israel, you this and that, and among you guys, they're going to tell you what people you come from. For example, the original people were like, the Chinese, Iraq, um, Greece, Egypt. All these were like original people that God, created. When they came out of the ark. For example, India is not. It's a mixture. Persia is not. The Persians, that the Iranians that you see today are not Arabs. They're German, mostly German, European. They came in, they mixed up with Arabs. They took the Arab language, Arab religion, and they're like fake Arabs. You understand? And in that case, if they come from Germany, if they come from Europe, it is allowed to say that they are Ashkenazi also, because Ashkenaz it's Europe in Hebrew. Ashkenaz it's also Asia. So that means that you can see them. They don't look like Arabs, and they don't behave like Arabs. Digging tunnels and conspiring all the time in the dark, and this is not the nature of the Arabs. Arabs are simple people. They're going to own the land. If there's a problem, they're going to rise and fight. They're going to dominate you. If you don't want to be a Muslim, they're not going to kill you. You just have to pay like a price for protection. But they're not going to move like one stone from here to here for like thousands of years. I don't care. They just stay. Everything stays the way it is. They don't, dig like the Nazis used to do. Like this is not the mentality of the Arabs. So you can detect that. You can see not only by their face, but also by their history and by their attitude that they are not Arabs. So again, there are fake Arabs and true Arabs. There are real Jews and fake Jews. And also real flat earthers and fake flat earthers. So this is the time now when you get close to the truth, to distinguish, who is who, to analyze things and to be able to, discern, uh, what is what and who is who. And this is going to be hard for, many people. Now, we're going to be talking about, the Jews for in a few more podcasts. And again, what I'm going to have to, what I'm going to want to share with you, you don't have to believe me, because again, I don't have to, to explain that to you. I'm already here in Israel, belong to the Jewish people. I'm home free. So, but I feel that you have to know these things, even though you don't believe them. You'll be able to say, "Oh, that's BS," and whatever. But there's one thing you won't be able to say. You won't be able to say, "I never heard of it. Nobody ever told me." That you will not be able to say that anymore. So again, if you feel like it's going to be too big for you, too hard, just leave now. Just go back to whatever you were doing. So again, the term of Jew, I don't really like it because again, it doesn't mean nothing. Jew comes from the word Juden, Germany, German word, and it talks about the tribe of Judah, which is Yehuda in Hebrew, which is a royal tribe. Like if everybody wanted to be like from the royal tribe, of course, nobody's going to tell you, "Oh, I'm from Naphtali," or "I'm from Asher." No, I'm from Yehuda. A royal tribe, of course. So it doesn't mean much. The Israel means something. The sons of Israel mean something. And even in the Quran, I think they're making a difference between Yahud, the Jew, and Benu Israel, the sons of Israel. They make a big difference about this. And also in the book of Easter, we see also there is like a notion of identifying the Jews that are called Yehudim, like Judeans, in that book, and all this to tell you that again, don't get fooled, by everything that you hear about the Jews, about who we are. Just double check. I'm here to help you with whatever I can, but don't get fooled. Don't place yourself in that delicate position where you're going to be an enemy of Israel, where you're going to be an ally of our enemies. Don't wait until you decide to do that. Just hear me and wait and check things out. Because again, if you believe things about Israel and you carry on those beliefs without checking things out, and I'm talking about you flat earthers, I'm not talking about the other guys, I'm talking about you guys. You have a responsibility. You cannot say, "Oh, I didn't know. I believe that." How can you believe? You got a brain, to understand that the Earth is flat, that they never went to the moon, but you have no brains when it comes to the Jews. Like, what's going on? You understand? So again, just double check, triple check things. Just ask the Jews, ask the other guys that just check things out, and you're gonna see that with simple, basic logic, you're gonna see that everything that is being told to you on um, the media, the mainstream media, is about the Jews is mostly false all the time. So, and what is being told about the Jews here also is false. We're at war here. We're in a problem here. Don't believe it's like just like So again, so the Jews is not a religion. Being Jewish is not being a religious. There are lots of people that are Jewish. They are not religious. They are even anti-religion. So what do you say about that? Okay. Now the other thing is that the Jewish religion was created by Israel scholars just before the exile. All those laws that we have today. And the reason why it was created, it was to protect our identity in exile. Because by investing most of our time into following thousands of rules. We might get stupid at one point, but we'll stay like, stupid Jews. We'll stay Jewish and stupid. That means that it's going to be much harder to assimilate us. The point in the Jewish religion is not to try to conquer the world like with your religions. The Judaism is not a religion of conquest. Christianity is. Islam is. And all the other religions are. And all the methods employed to do so are like, I don't want to talk about this, burning people alive, exchanging, face against medicine, against, food. All this, was used to in order to just like convert people, to these beliefs. We never did that. We don't want to do that. It's not the point. The point of the Jewish religion is just for the Jews themselves. It's not to convince anybody. That's why we don't have anything to prove to anybody. We don't want to sell you anything. We don't have anything to sell. So the thing, again, you have to understand that the Jewish religion has been implemented in order not to assimilate. When you send a small people, into an ocean of different people with different cultures and under their authorities, chances are that you're going to just mixed up with them, just like they mixed up, they mix among each other and just going to disappear. See, Vlad is black. Okay, my friend Vlad is black. And I told him one time, just imagine, I tell you, okay, hey, Vlad, you know what? Just come to China. There's a nice girl I know there. You can marry her. You know, we're not racist. You can marry whoever you want. She's beautiful. She's a good woman. She's going to be a good wife, a good mother. And she is. And he goes there. Vlad goes there, marries that Chinese girl. He's got a great life, great children with her, half Chinese, half black. And then these half Chinese, half black kids, they're gonna stay in China. They're gonna learn Chinese. They're gonna marry Chinese girls, with Chinese boys, and then they're gonna just like make children. They're gonna be like 75% Chinese, and only 25% black. And after like 2 or 3 generations, that's it. The black is gone, is dead, assimilated. You understand? So the thing is that again, uh, there are reasons for races. That means that you can love, you can, we can marry, we can intermarry. There's no problem. There's no laws against that, even in the Torah. But there is a logic that we have to have, is that you have to be careful not to disappear as a people, as a race. You have an obligation to just preserve that. Just have fun, marry whoever you want. It's no problem. But again, uh, if we Jews had done that, we would have been gone already. And with us, all these secrets that we have in these books. So that was not the point. So the religion was like an ark to protect us, just like the ark of Noah into the storm there, into the flood. So it's the same thing. This is what the religion was made for. Understand? Religion in Hebrew is dat, and the knowledge is da'at. That means there is another letter in between those two letters. It's just like to protect the knowledge. That's all it is. It's not to dominate people. It's not to steal their money. It's not to rape their children. It's not. It's none of this. You understand? It's just to protect our identity. That's what it is. Now, before the exile, there were oral laws, of course, also that were given to us with the written laws. Things like, for example, in the Torah, it is said you should put the Torah on your hand and on your forehead. That's all it's written, but we don't know how to do it. With what? With what material? With what shape? So you have scholars, you have guys that have knowledge, that study these things. They say, okay, now to do this, you have to do that like this, like this, like this, like this. So this is the oral laws. How to do things physically that was explained, that was told in the written Torah, but that was never explained exactly. So we have thousands of laws, and I believe that that's another subject. But I believe that Jesus also was following those laws, because I believe he was also praying like a Jew, then therefore praying with all these things that we use and that we can only know how to use according to the oral Torah. But that's another subject. So again, being Jewish is not a religion. It's totally ridiculous to say that. And it's not because you're going to imitate the Jews that you're going to become a Jew. Even though today, in the religious establishment in Israel, it is possible, but it is not true. This is fake. This is like a big conspiracy. Never existed in the Torah. It never did exist, and it shouldn't exist because the whole point of being Jewish is to distinguish ourselves from the others in order to help the others. We cannot become like you guys. Then we'll lose what we have in order to help you and you to help us. So that means we have to stay, distinguished, just like a man and a woman. You cannot have like a man becoming a woman and then he's going to marry a woman. It cannot be like that. He has to stay a man, and a woman has to stay a woman in order to for a couple to be able to form. You understand? Am I making sense? So that's one thing. Being Jewish is not a religion. Okay, it can come with a religion. For example, I'm not religious. I'm traditionalist. That means I do the basics, the minimum. The fundamental. What is basic in the Torah? Like I respect Shabbat. I eat kosher. I respect purity laws, and a few more things. That's it. I'm not. That's enough for me to identify myself as a part of Israel, which I am. Even though I didn't do all this. I will still be a part of Israel. You understand? And and the thing is that again, the what you call the religion is not really religion. It's the way of life. You understand? It's not a religion. It's not really a religion. The Jewish religion, again, is just to preserve the information, to keep it intact, which, again, we succeeded into doing. The Jews filled up their contract. They filled up their mission. So, wait a second, something is... לא להיכנס עכשיו, אני בפודקאסט. לא משנה, ביי. שקט. You're gonna see when you're gonna get married, you two, what it is. Okay, so the thing is, again, it is not a religion. Even though, Jews can be religious or not, but it is being Jewish or being part of the people of Israel, it's not about religion. Now, about the people. So, some people, gonna say, okay, so how do you become Jewish, like even without being religious? Well, the notion of being part of Israel is being transmitted by the mother among us. The mother gives the Judaicity. Gives it. If you have a Jewish mother, you can become Jewish. You are automatically you're part of Israel. If your mother is an Israelite, then you are Israelite. So that means that when you talk about DNA or the priest DNA, the Kohen DNA, it's all BS. Why? Because a guy from Uganda, a black guy from Uganda, can marry a Jewish woman and have Jewish kids. You understand? So if you have to check the DNAs, you're gonna find like all kinds of like races of people into the Jewish people. But the thing is, again, uh, for those that believe that this is BS or that the Jews invented that. So again, this is where you have to have common sense. Just look at what's written. When God punishes the snake, what does he say? I'll put an animosity. I'll put like, you know, uh, 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 I think it's the word is animosity, like, between your offspring and her offspring, between your children and the children of Hava, of Eve. Why not the children of Adam? You understand? So that means you have one male because the snake is being talked to as a male, okay, as a man. So he says it's going to be a big, big problem all the time. It's going to be a big, like kind of hatred between your kids, your offspring, and the woman's, not Adam. You understand? So the notion of a woman having an offspring and not her husband is also mentioned right there, right in the beginning. So I'm not going to develop this now, but I just want to tell you, just like most of you guys are Christians, most of you guys know the Bible. So check it out, and maybe he won't give you all the answers, but at least it will sweep up all the the BS that are being inserted into you guys, and also among us. I tell you the truth. I learned them about the Torah, and I understood things about the Torah thanks to you. You don't even speak Hebrew. You imagine? You don't even speak Hebrew. You don't speak Hebrew. You don't know nothing about what's actually written in the original language. And despite that, with your own only your reasoning, I was able to understand things I could never understood in the Torah because of you. That means, again, that's why I give a lot of value to the people that you are, to that community. I'm trying to understand what's going on here because it is not normal to see guys like you. Like, I don't know. So, anyways, um, so this is to tell you that actually uh, the Jews or the Israelites are not a religion, because there are lots of Israelites that are not religious. There are gays, Israelites that reject everything from the religion, from the religion. I speak too fast sometimes. And but they are still Israelites. At that point on, when you have somebody that commits like an abomination or crime, like let's say, God forbid, like raping a child, at that point, that Israelite there is no part of Israel. It's like outcast. It's still an son of Israel, but it's outcast. But at that point on, it's not part of it. That means, like, if he dies, or he won't be able to join his people. It'll be like just rejected. You understand? Now, if he repairs what he did, which is very difficult in that case, then he can re-enter the people of Israel and be part of of Israel. So this is again to tell you that, again, being Jewish, being a son of Israel, has nothing to do with being religious. Okay, that's very simple to understand. I think you got it. Now, about the people of Israel. So where do we come from? Because again, if we have a problem with the Jews, you have first of all to know what a Jew is, and most people don't even know. And you know what? Some of the Jews, and even maybe lots of them, don't even know. We don't even know who we are. But again, we have the obligation to investigate and to explain all that to our children. So thank God we have books that can explain all that. So the thing is that when you look in the Torah about our ancestors, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for those that didn't get it, we see that they're like, fathers and sons, and that we know the name of Abraham's father, the name of his father, and all the way back to Shet, which is the latest son of Adam. So we do know that we can trace our origins all the way to Shet, which is the son of Adam. Now you're going to say, oh, yeah, but everybody also, we are. Okay, so there is a problem here. Because in the creation, you see that there are two dynasties. You have the dynasty of Shet and dynasty of Cain, which are two dynasties. Now we'll talk about what's up before the start of these two dynasties. But the thing is that you see there's two families of people that are not the same. You have the son of Cain and the sons of Shet. And at one point, I'm not going to develop that now, but they mixed up. After Enosh, the 6 people that comes out after Enosh mixed up. That's why they are not called sons. It's not written, and this guy had a son and his name was. No, this guy made that guy. That's it. And only Shet and Enosh are, referred as sons, but and Noah after that, but not these 6 guys there that mixed up with the others. And I can just explain to you who mixed up with who. We can understand that according to their names. So you have two dynasties of people. So now you're going to say, oh, yeah, but wait a second, and the world was destroyed at one point, and of course, everything started, again. That's what most people understand. But what you don't know, because again, you're not Jewish, you don't know our, the information that we have from our, elder people, and from our wise scholars that you don't believe in, is that we know that Noah's wife was actually Naamah, which was from the other dynasty. You understand? And I don't know if I can go on that field, but okay, I'm gonna try for the record. You see that Noah had three sons, which is Shem, Ham, and Yefet, and you see that Naamah actually had three brothers, Yaval, Yuval, and Tuval Cain. And it is known in Judaism that when you marry a girl, you want to marry a girl, you have to look at her brothers, because chances are that your sons are going to come out just like her brothers. I don't know. Just don't ask me how it works. I don't even care. But now. So you have to understand, if those three brothers of Naamah in the Torah are mentioned as one being the father of the people that dwell in tents, the other one the father of the musicians, and the other one the father of the industry. Everything which is working metals. So there is a reason for that, because if you know that Noah took that woman there, Naamah, that had those three brothers around. Now you understand that each one of Noah's sons, Yefet, Ham, and Shem, are actually like one, each one like one of these brothers. One came out like father of industry, business. This is Europe. This is Yefet. Europe, Asia, everything which is in the inner circle around the north. I don't say anymore the northern hemisphere. There's the inner circle. That everything which is around the north there, America, Europe, Asia, China, all this up. This is Yefet. Money talks, business, creation, invention, modifying everything, the environment, everything, just building. Now then you have Ham. Ham is Africa, which was Ethiopia at the time. It was called Ethiopia, which is the name is Cush. The son of Ham is Cush. So these are people that are like very natural people. They just like enjoy what they have, and they're like very simple people, but knowledgeable people, that are profound people. And then you have Shem, which gives the nations of the Semite people. Shem, it's the name of Shem, you know, um, brought the name of Shemite or Semite. So, and this is Middle East, mostly the Arabs and the Jews, like you can say. So not white, not black, the gray one, the little gray man. Ah, I'm having fun, talking to my computer. So the thing is that again, um, we know where we come from, and we know there was another dynasty that we don't come from. We don't come from these guys. So who are these guys? We know that in the Eden Garden there are three people. We have Adam, we have Hava, which is Eve in your language, and you have that guy that's called the snake. So in the Torah, people can have names of animals, just like Yehuda, Judah is a young lion. This one is a snake. This one is a doe, and many times many people have like names of animals for whatever reason. So we know that that snake was a man. Of course, you have to demystify all this in order to understand things. If not, you're gonna stay like in at a very low level. You have to demystify things to understand that actually that snake is cannot be anything else than a man. It cannot be the Satan. It cannot be like a like an evil spirit. It cannot be anything else than just a man. Why? Because he's punished. God does not punish animal. He doesn't say to the animal, "Oh, you're bad. You know what? Your offspring is gonna just suffer." And he doesn't say that. It's ridiculous. He doesn't talk to animals. He doesn't punish animals who do not have the free will. He only punishes people that are responsible for their action. So if the snake is responsible for his action because he was punished for his actions, that means he's got free will. That means he has that responsibility because he decided to do what he did. Nobody forced him. You understand? And at that point, he can only be a man because only men have free will, especially at the time. So again, it's a man. So here we have like two men and one woman. And you have two kids come out of this. One is Hebel, Abel, I think you say, and the other one is Cain. So there is an intel, an information that you need in order to understand that. If not, you're going to be in the dark, about everything else in the Torah. There is something very important to understand. Have you heard about superfecundation? There are cases here in this world, about like 10 cases, I think, where a woman can get pregnant of twins. She can have twins in a body, but each one of these twin has a different father. That means if a woman mates with two men within, I think, 3 days, sometimes it's extremely rare, but sometimes that can happen. That the woman is going to get pregnant, and she's going to have two kids, and their fathers are going to be different. They're going to have two fathers. One's going to come from one guy, the other one from another guy. But among these cases here in the world, it's like about like of course a woman that cheated on her husband or whatever. Sometimes you can have like a black kid and a white kid, and they're twin brothers, but it's called a superfecundation. And if you do not know that, if you don't understand that, you will never be able to understand everything else, because you see, as soon as those two guys are born, Cain and Abel, right away we know that they are twins, that they were born at the same time. Why? Because it is written that the woman conceived and gave birth to Cain, and she kept on giving birth to his brother, to Abel. So for Abel, it's not written, and she conceived again. It's not written, and she conceived and gave birth to his brother, to Abel. She said, no, no. And she kept on giving birth to Abel, which means one conception, two, and two kids come out of this. That means that two births, sorry. One conception, two births. They're twins. If they're not twins, if they were born something else, some in some different times, so it will be like two conception and two births. That's why it's so important in the Torah to explain that she conceived. Because people can say, oh, what do we have to know that she conceived? It's normal she has to conceive to make a kid, but again, make sense, be smart, check things out. There is a reason for every drop of ink in the Torah. So the thing again is that you have two kids that are brothers, but not only brothers, but twin brothers. But now we know that they're not real twin brothers. Why? Because right away the Torah tells you, yeah, but one is going to be like a farmer and the other one is going to be like a pastor. Two different natures, totally different natures, opposite natures. So right away they tell you those are twins, but not real twins. And when you investigate, I'm not going to go through that again, you understand that in the creation something happened. And we know that also from our scholars that just like explain that to you like halfway, but they explain it to you that at one point, the snake, that man also had a relationship with Eve. And he did have that after that Adam had a relationship with, Eve also, a couple of days later. And out of this came out two children. One, son of Adam, Abel, and the other one, the son of the snake, Cain. So this is what you have to understand. And it doesn't mean that's bad. It doesn't mean that the snake was maybe a bad person in the beginning. I don't know. We don't know what happened there. You understand? Adam is punished much more harshly than the snake. You understand? So the thing is that we don't know who is who and what is what, but there are two dynasties there right away. And the creation and our civilization starts with three people, not two. So when people are going to tell you, yeah, well, we all come from Adam and Eve. No, 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 no. Not true. will come from Eve, no problem. Mother of all livings, but not everybody comes from Adam. Some come from the snake. So now we can say who comes from the snake? That we Jews, or the other guys, or it's mixed up. Well, they mixed up anyways, at one point. And this is what it is referred to with the Son of God, that mixed up with the daughters of, men. Because again, there's a lot of mysticism, a lot of beliefs that there are angels in the skies that came down and took the women and everything, and that's beautiful. That's a nice, picture. But the reality is that these events happened like 5,000 years ago. It's not like million years ago in different realms. And the thing is that again, the son of Elohim is the sons of Elohim is the ones that had Elohim, that believed in Elohim as a god, and the other one is the sons of Adam or daughters of Adam. That means the people that believed in Adam, in men. There are those that believe in God and those that believe in mankind, the power of man. That's no good. Man does everything. Look what I did. And Cain was the first builder. He built a city. Yeah, look what I did. God didn't build that. I did that. So I'm not going to, extend on that. So just to tell you, I don't know, maybe we Jews come from the snake. Maybe Jews and some Jews and some non-Jews come from the snake, or vice versa. I don't know. But what I know is that according to the Torah, of course, uh, we know our we know our we can trace our origins all the way to Shet. We that's what I know. So again, today everything is mixed up. You have everything is mixed up. It's a big mess. So again, we don't really know who is who, but according to to what we know, the Jewish people. I'm not talking about all the Jews today, because again, there are lots of fake ones. Okay, lots. I think maybe a majority. I think it's crazy. Uh, and we know that we have that those origins there. This is what we know. And the thing is that what you have to understand, something very important, is that when you talk about Israel, or the state of Israel, or the Jews in general, in Israel, you only have like two tribes. Usually what they say is like you have the tribe of Judah, Yehuda, and the tribe of Benjamin. There are 10 tribes of Israel that are lost. That means that Israel that you see is just like a very small portion of Israel. I'm not talking about now about territories, like people are going to say, "Oh, you're talking about the Great Israel." Of course, the state of Israel, was not made, by God. It was made by England. So England, traced the borders of Syria, of Egypt, so you can be certain that it's not the borders of Israel, and they're going to be different borders at the time. But I don't think it's going to be by force. I think it's going to be by like uh, collective consciousness that is going to understand all that. But the thing is that uh, again, there are 10 tribes that are lost. So I wanted to tell you that according to my research, and this is what took most of my life for the last 20 years, is that I have extremely good reasons to understand that these 10 lost tribes of Israel are today residing among what we know as the Gypsies. The Gypsies that are the only other people that Hitler, managed to try or attempted to destroy, to erase, to eradicate with the Jews. Well, the Nazis said, they were the superior race, everybody else was under them, but they never tried to, exterminate the blacks, the Arabs, the Chinese, or whatever. No, only the Jews and the Gypsies. And the laws that they made, against them were the same, because they considered the Gypsies as Jews also. So we have to learn from our enemies. And anyways, there's many other things that tells us that those 10 tribes might be among the Gypsies today. And this is what I've done, before, to identify them. And those people agree. And there are today about like between 14 million and 70 million, Gypsies. And again, among them also, there are like real ones and fake ones. Forget about it. So all this is going to be for the first live stream about this very sensitive subject. Sorry. The point being that the Jews, or the Israelites, let's say like this, is not just a religion. It's never been a religion. If you read your books, I mean, most of you are Christians. I don't know. You have to know basics of the Bible. I don't know. It's written clearly over there. So it is a people. The Israel is called the people of Israel. God calls him my people. So it's not like a bunch of guys that convert into like an idea. So again, uh, the Jews are a people, a very special people that is meant to carry on secrets that we don't understand. We don't understand our books. That's the thing. At one point, we're going to understand it, and I believe we're going to be able to understand it with you. I believe it's the the people of Israel by himself won't be able to do much if he's not with the non-Jews, with you guys, because to rip apart that snake that is between us, we're gonna need the both of us. We won't be able to do it alone. You won't be able to do it alone. We together, I believe we can do it. We can do it because he dwells among you, just as among us. So we're gonna have to work together at one point. You're gonna have to understand that. So that's for that first podcast. I'm gonna try to put a link on the chat there for whoever wants to come in. Let me see. Yes, here it is. Okay. For a few seconds. Whoever wants to come in, you can come in. Okay. And well, I'm gonna do that for like 30 seconds. Whoever wants to come in can come in, and then we're gonna call that a podcast, a first shot. So that was my the first thing. Jews again is not a religion. It is a people. Uh, Among these people, there are members that want to keep the traditions alive. So they're going to apply those laws that we have, all these thousands of laws that we have, and that can be called religious Jews. And there are non-religious Jews, like I am, but traditionalist. I'm going to keep the minimum, but I'm going to keep it because I'm a part of Israel. And as a part of Israel, I'm linked to that book. We are called the people of the book. So the thing is that, we have to live according to that book, I think, as Jews. And again, if there are evil Jews in the world, we'll talk about that later on. We have to take care of them too, and in priority, because those are the most dangerous. When a Jew, that is supposed to, fulfill his contract with God, like it's supposed to be an example, it's supposed to be like God fearing, um, becomes evil, it becomes a priority target for the other Jews and for you guys actually also. So that's it. I see there are too many people rushing to come to the podcast. So I'm going to call that a podcast. We're gonna just leave and we're gonna wait for you guys' reactions. Uh, if you feel like you want to react to that. So I say goodbye to you and see you next time, and hopefully soon. So here we go. We're gonna have that exit music now. Here we go. Shalom, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.